Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Brian Waters, and on today's show, the B Waters Sports Show, I want to talk a little bit about baseball. Now, currently, we have teams that we felt would have been nowhere near the top doing well, and vice versa. We have the defending National League champion, Colorado Rockies, at the bottom of the National League West. To me, the National League West, is a division that's just, they seem like they're in a race to the bottom instead of a race to the top. You have the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are at the top, but they do not seem to be the best team in the National League. In fact, it just seems like they are ahead of everybody just because of the type of ball they're playing, which is enough to get by, and their opponents, which is the National League West. As you see, they do struggle a little bit going against other National League teams as well as American League teams. In the AL Central, you have the Chicago Cubs, who are on a roll. Teams, this might be the year in which the curse of the GOAT is broken. We thought that was a few years ago, but unfortunately, Moises Alou was robbed, and so what happens? Marlins go to the World Series only to go ahead and defeat the Yankees. But now the Cubs have, to me, which I believe is a better team, so only time will tell. In the American League East, we have a good race between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Florida Marlins. And the Marlins are a great young team, a team that doesn't spend a lot of money, but has a lot of talent. Then you have the Philadelphia Phillies, who is a very powerful lineup, headlined by Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins. Then you also have the Mets, who collapsed, but they're not as bad as people may think they are. They're right in the middle of that division. And you have the aging Atlanta Braves in that division also, who have, I believe, lost John Smoltz for the rest of the season and perhaps maybe his career. In the American League East, you have the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Boston Red Sox tied for first place. The Rays are a team whom everybody thought would be at the bottom again for, I believe, the fourth, fifth, maybe sixth, maybe consecutive years since they've been in the league. But the Rays are playing good baseball. They're playing as a unit, doing all the little things that count. Then you have the Red Sox team, who they are the defending world champions, but in due time, they might slip off. David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez, if one of them goes down, then there's problems. Not to mention Kurt Schilling's out for the rest of the season, maybe the rest of his career. Then in the Central, you have the Chicago White Sox, a very good team. After they got yelled at by their manager, again, it was a different ball game, and these guys were playing some good baseball. But you cannot count out the Detroit Tigers, who is my personal pick, or I'm not straying away from it, to win the World Series this year. The Tigers had a very slow start. At one point they were 3-12, but now they're starting. They're just a few games under 500. Then in the American League West, you have the 2002 World Champion Los Angeles Angels, who are playing good baseball, and they might have a chance to also win it all. With Vladimir Guerrero and Torrey Hunter in the outfield and in the lineup, only time can tell what this lineup can do. Another surprise team is my favorite team, the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles started off 5-1, I believe, 5 or 6-1. They had a couple of bumps in the road. I think they won as many as 2, maybe 3 or 4 games under 500. Had another winning streak. The Orioles, another team, a different team than they had last year. They're not swinging at everything. They're patient. They're doing the little things, the ground balls, the double plays, all that it takes. And the attitude on this team is different. And that's what manager Dave Tremblay said. The attitude is different. If you have a winning attitude, then you will go far. And the clubhouse leader, Kevin Millar, who everybody said wouldn't be starting if it was another team in Major League Baseball, the clubhouse leader, as I said, has indicated that this team is better than what people think. So only time will tell when October gets here. But don't be surprised if you see the Orioles fighting to earn themselves a spot in the playoffs. But then you just can't count out the New York Yankees. The Yankees are a team that since Alex Rodriguez been back have been heating up, and A-Rod, let's not forget, he was one of the youngest players to hit for 500 home runs. It's not too far from 600, and if you know it, you know he's projected, if he doesn't have the same unfortunate things that happened to Ken Griffey Jr., he'll probably shatter Barry Bonds' record. He could end up with 1,000 home runs, ladies and gentlemen. So, you gotta remember, he's been playing since he was about 20, 21 years old. So, you can't count the Yankees out. Manager Joe Girardi, he has a good attitude, a winning attitude. He does have a couple of world championships with the Yankees as a player, and he would definitely like to win one as a manager. So, that's all on today's show about Major League Baseball. We will have an update in a few weeks, and I hope you enjoyed the show. So long, everybody.